Hey, what can Sir Cherry do today? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to give you all a little update on some stuff that's happened over the past week. So let's get started. Nothing, I guess I shouldn't say too crazy, but this past Wednesday, I unfortunately suffered a grand mal or full body seizure during the day, actually during my sleep. My experience is actually rather, from my perspective, is rather uneventful. I can say for others that I've talked to, who was my mother and my fiance, they experienced things a little differently than I did. So this past Wednesday, I was starting to feel some symptoms again, because there is still tumor in my head. It wasn't all able to be surgically removed, or else I would have been paralyzed, but the neurosurgeon was able to remove 45% of the tumor, and he had to leave 55% of it in my brain in order for me to still have functionality and everything, which is, important and keeps my quality of life higher, which, again, I talked about in my last video. But again, so there's still 55% of that tumor in my head that is still waiting to be removed with chemo and radiation. And I guess I didn't touch on it on my last video, so I might as well kind of talk about the process now. They did remove that golf ball mass, and they've been doing tissue analysis. They've been doing, I think he said they're going to run like 10 or so different kinds of genetic tests, testing every single different allele on the DNA strand and trying to essentially do most analysis possible to find the best possible treatment plan to discover what grade the tumor is. Again, it's either going to be anywhere from 2 to 4. Hopefully not 4. That would mean, I wouldn't have too much longer left if they discovered it was 4. But he thinks it's 2. I kind of talked about that last time. But so like I said, I did unfortunately suffer a grand mal seizure. How it all kind of happened was I was still experiencing some symptoms. And he told me because, there's still tumor in my head, I'm going to experience some symptoms of like neuropathy still, like the lack of feeling, which has still been kind of an on and off thing throughout the past few weeks during recovery. I still have like the drooling happen from time to time. But it's gotten better as far as I can tell. And I don't experience it nowhere near as intense as I did before. And that's fantastic. So I'm noticing improvement, and that's great, which means my body's healing, and I'm really, taking my rest, sleeping as much as possible. At first I was having trouble sleeping, but sleep and rest is so important because, there's like a golf ball sized hole in my head that needs to fill in with brain matter and hopefully not tumor. So, I've been like trying to get as much rest as possible. So that's why I haven't been frequenting these YouTube videos as much, trying to make sure I'm promoting proper recovery, taking all the proper steps. And it's been helpful because I've been noticing progress, like I said. So anyway, but this past Wednesday is when I had the seizure. It's actually the first full body seizure that I've had. I didn't consciously have it. I was actually unconscious when it happened. So from my perspective, I was actually feeling kind of tired, but I was telling my mom that I was, feeling a little nauseous. So I guess we learned some symptoms of what it's like for me to have a seizure, because it's different for everybody, apparently, which I guess makes sense. It'd be different for everyone. I guess for me, I kind of start to doze off a little bit. I start to feel nauseous a little bit. And what was the other one? Oh yeah, the world starts to smell different. I don't know how else to describe that, but the world smells different for a little bit too. And I was kind of telling her these things, but I didn't really think too much of it, and I actually noticed all those symptoms when I first had like the one like partial seizure in my arm when I was at work. So I was kind of experiencing those similar things, but I didn't really think too much of it. So I guess now that I'm aware that means seizure, that's a good thing for me, my friends, and who are helping take care of me, and my family that is helping take care of me during this time, so that we know what some of my warning signs are. But then again, so I'm sorry, I'm getting a little off track. Again, another off the cuff video. But that's kind of how I like to do these, I think. So I was kind of feeling a little tired. I was like, man, I kind of want to take a nap. So I kind of bundled up on the couch, and I would either usually go to sleep in my room, but my mom has been working remotely, and she's been at home helping take care of me. So she was working in the dining room, which was cool. So I just laid on our couch instead, and I said, I'm gonna lay on this couch, and if something were to happen in my sleep, because when you go to sleep, you actually lower your seizure threshold, and there's nothing you can do about that. So I was told that by my neurosurgeon. Anyway, so there's nothing you can do about it when you go to sleep. It's just unfortunate, but you gotta live with it. So I said, I'm gonna lay on this couch and sleep out here so you can keep an eye on me if something were to happen. And obviously something did happen. I started seizing in my sleep, and then luckily my mom's best friend from college, her name's Erica, she was here, and she has been in through some medical stuff, so they helped take care of me. And then from my perspective, it was like 3 p.m. I believe when I fell asleep. I woke up around 9 p.m. in the hospital, and I was like, how the hell did I get here? And then eventually a doctor came in and like, Noah, you had a seizure. And I said, what? I had a seizure? Yes, you did. That's why you're here. And I'm like, oh, all right. Well, I guess I'm here now. I'm just in the hospital, I guess. So that was definitely an interesting thing to wake up to, thinking I was going to wake up and be in my living room, and I'm completely in the hospital again. I'm like, this is interesting. It felt like a flash to me. But I mean, some good news was obviously because I had a seizure, they're going to scan my brain and make sure everything's okay. So some good news from that is that they scanned my brain, and they compared it was a CT scan. They compared my brain to the last scan that I had done at the last hospital I was at after my neurosurgery. And some good news. No brain bleed, no hemorrhaging, no nothing. Actually, the tumor that is still left in my brain is shrinking. They told me the tumor is shrinking. And I said, what? It's shrinking? How? I haven't gone through chemo or radiation yet, and it's shrinking on its own? They don't know why. That's fascinating to me. I was just as dumbfounded when they told me. So, that was definitely a crazy thing to wake up to and be like, yeah, your tumor is shrinking. What? And you're healing. Good. Okay, great. That's fantastic. So, again, another interesting revelation. Obviously I don't think it can go away on its own, but I mean, if it could, that's fascinating. I'm very interested in my own head. Like, how is this possible? I don't get that. It seems like it should be impossible. I've been being told a lot of impossible things lately, and, I'm dumbfounded to say the least, but, I'm thankful to say the least as well. I will say that, they let me go because I was obviously fine. I had no brain damage. My brain didn't fry from the seizure. Luckily, I didn't die from the seizure. I mean, obviously, I'm here talking to you guys. So that was definitely an interesting thing to hear. And then they let me go from the hospital. And I have a little Ring camera on my house. So I watched it when I got home. And it was weird seeing me on a stretcher getting taken out of my house and into an ambulance. And I don't live far from the hospital, like literally like 2 or 3 minutes. So I mean, it couldn't have been that far of an ambulance ride. But, my mom wanted to be sure that I was safe and okay, and she made the right call and what she thought was right. And I'm thankful that I'm still here because of her. So, yeah, that's my experience with having a seizure, I guess. It's very uneventful from my perspective, but my family took care of me and did what they thought was right. And I'm thankful that they did what they thought was right. So, hopefully the anti-seizure meds that I'm on, they put me on some more of them. I hope those keep me from having another seizure. I mean, obviously, if I go to sleep and have it in my sleep, there's nothing I can do. But, I'm going to do my best to make sure that I don't have another seizure. All right. Well, that's all I've got for you guys today. Otherwise, be on the lookout. The upcoming week, I'm going to start posting more in terms of gaming content. I'm going to start streaming on Twitch. I got some big plans coming, and I'm very excited to show you guys what I've got in store. So, yeah, this is Noah, Cancer Cherry, signing off.